Hi folks, welcome back to the Emporium. So, back again with another board game unboxing for you. Those who joined me last month for Arkham Horror, I did let you know which one I'll be doing this time round. And we are of course going for Fantasy Flight's second big game of the three, the other being Marvel Champions obviously, The Lord of the Rings, LCG. Okay, so, going along with the same idea as Arkham Horror. They originally, this game's about 10 or 12 years old, released this one. And again, the same kind of model that was the same with Arkham Horror, was what had actually happened is you had to buy 2 of these to play a proper 4-player game. You now only have to buy 1 of these, okay? So what they've done is they went away, like they done last time with Arkham Horror, and they changed a few little things up, more game improvements, like Arkham Horror, and you will hear me reference back to that quite a bit because the two of them go hand in hand. They basically they done like things like more tokens with different values on them, that kind of stuff. What's nice is, like with Arkham Horror, is you can put this and its contents together with that, so all the tokens are basically like the same. This just basically tidies it all up, and it's a much nicer package for like a new purchaser, a new owner, a new buyer. I bought this anyway because I'm a sucker. If it's got Fantasy Flight on it and it's one of the big 3, I tend to buy it, I will be honest. But I wanted to basically get the updated one just for the extra tokens and a couple like little bits inside really, as well as being able to have various copies of different other cards. What they've also done, Fantasy Flight, is they have reintroduced, they've done like starter decks, which is really, really nice. So you can get like, I take it you know like your Lord of the Rings was looking in on this. But you have like, there's Gondor, there is Rohan, there is Elves, and there are Dwarfs. And they're basically pre-built decks. So you could go along with those pre-built decks, which is about 18 UK pounds. Have a look at Amazon, eBay, something like that. And you could play that deck, which is a bit like the Marvel Champions model, where it's like self-contained character decks. In fact, Arkham do it as well, to be fair. So you could just go along. So I could own this game and you could come to mine tonight and say, right, Nick, I've got the Gondor deck, I want to play that. And you can go straight ahead. So Fantasy Flight have tended to, like, they've really tidied everything up. Marvel Champions doesn't need it because that's damn near untouchable in my opinion. No clue as to my favourites out of 3. But yeah, it's refreshing to see. Could it be a cash grab? Potentially, because if you've already got 2 of these, you probably don't need this, to be fair. But I digress. So, lovely box. I mean, anybody loving Tolkien, you know, there's Gandalf there. Beautiful artwork all around. Okay, so this is an LCG, same sort of thing as Arkham. So there are further adventures. There are 3 scenarios in this. One of them is absolutely horrible. I wouldn't recommend playing with anything less than 2 players. Don't try it solo, you're just not going to do it. And even out of every 10 games you play, you say you're probably only going to win like 1 or 2. I will tell you right now, this game is hard. Yeah. But for anyone who likes a challenge, I love it. I played a little bit of the other one there. And all the cards, I'll show you the art like in a little bit, you know, and it's just so damn Tolkien. It's like, well, it is Lord of the Rings on your table, you know. The idea of the game is you start off with like, each player has like 3 characters, 3 heroes. So you might have like an Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, like the 3 hunters, you know, or you might have like Éomer, Arwen, you know, Gimli, whatever. All the characters are available throughout the different boxes. And each one has like a sphere. So one might be like lore, one might be like, you know, this, that, and the other, tactics and all that. So a bit like Arkham, where you get like your character classes. It's the same sort of thing. So I've got 3 characters, you've got 3 characters, and what we're basically trying to do is work our way through locations to gather clues to move on to travel to next locations. Amongst that mix, like we go into Mirkwood Forest here, so we're facing spiders and all sorts of like mad stuff. Anyone who doesn't like 8-legged things, yeah, it's all about you, Steph, if you're watching. Don't bother with this game. You know, there's like a lot of spiders, a lot of creepy crawlies and orcs and all that kind of stuff. So you basically, you're questing. So I said clue tokens, and now you're basically getting quest tokens to move the deck and the game along. And I say along the way, you're going to find like you're going to be fighting, you're going to be able to pull allies out of your card deck and play them. Gandalf might turn up and start just like kicking ass and then going away the way he does and stuff. So this, I mean, theme just Marvel Champions is thematic. Arkham Horror pulls you in, but this just rips it. Honest to God, it's like, yeah, it's just, you are immersed in like the Lord of the Rings. Okay, so trusty specs. There is the back of the box, showing us the cards and some of the setup. And in case anybody needs any introduction, okay, there's a nice little quote off Gandalf here from The Return of the King. Yet it's not our part to master all the tides of the world, but to do what is in for us the succour of those years wherein we are set, uprooting evil in the fields that we know, so that those who live after may have clean earth to till. What weather they have is not ours to rule. Sorry about that, it's Tolkien style, isn't it? Every year I read The Lord of the Rings, normally like now October, November, December each book, and it still takes me a little while to get used to it. I should really have practiced that, shouldn't I? Okay, so let's get down to business, folks. In The Lord of the Rings, the card game, players assemble a band of adventurers who are attempting to complete dangerous quests in Middle-earth, from the bright fields of the Shire and the dangerous paths of Mirkwood Forest to the mighty kingdoms of Gondor and Rohan. The heroes of this beloved setting join together to resist the threat of the Dark Lord Sauron. The Lord of the Rings, the card game, is a 1-to-4 player cooperative game in which players work together, competing against scenarios controlled by the game. As a living card game, additional cards and quests are available in future expansions, further allowing players to customise the contents of this set or to create their own original decks. Right, before I open this, you get into this. This is the card version of crack cocaine. I've warned you. Ladies and gentlemen, bank accounts, wallets, purses. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? But again, you know, I always say, if you're in it, you're in it to win it, and don't turn up at the dance if you don't want to play, you know. You could go along and you could just buy this, have a go with the 3 scenarios and enjoy yourself. There's enough characters in the box and stuff. Or you could, like I say, buy that character pack and example Gondor, and just go to like your mate who's got the game and just go around and play it, you know, on and off. So yeah, there is the back of the box again, folks. So this is the same size box, just out of interest, as the Arkham Horror there. And it's pretty much, anyone who's seen that unboxing, and if you haven't, why not go back and watch it. Same sort of thing, learn to play, and the rules reference, okay? So the rules reference, I'm not going to bother showing because it is what it says on the box. It's a rules reference. It's just basically, it's an A to Z of the rules in case you get stuck. This we'll have a look at in a bit. An advert, a poster for another one of their big games, The Lord of the Rings, The Journeys in Middle-earth. And then we get on to our normal stuff. So we've got all our tokens in various numerical degrees and the player dials for your health and stuff. We've got more tokens there. These are like your wounds, your quest tokens, and they're like your resources. So this is, again, it's a bit like Arkham, where you get resources every turn and you basically use them to purchase the cards to put them into play. We have a little bag of, I'm going to call these buttons, okay, and they basically connect your little player aid together. And we have we have 4 decks of cards. Now, as is the norm, I will not open these because I don't want to ruin the contents. However, I will show you the box, which, like the Arkham one, is lovely storage because you will be buying more of these. I've got like the first cycle, and I've got the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, the first 2 boxes as well. So you will be buying more. Nice place to store them, unless of course you go along and get yourself alternative storage, which a lot of people do on places like Etsy. Okay, so we've got 4 packs of cards. I'm not opening them. This one's called the East Bite, which is a wasteland location. So just have a look at the art alone on there. You don't need to worry about symbols, what they mean or whatever. We have one of the characters, a support character who costs 2, and he is the Miner of the Iron Hills. So what you see here is you get like this little sun sign, and that is like your questing power. You get axes, which is your hitting power, and you get shields, which is your defense. So what you basically do is, all the monsters are the same. So like a monster might have 2 defense and you might need to sort of have like say 4 attack to beat him and put wound marks on him. Your questing tokens are every round you've got to put so many characters into the quest or the game will basically work against you and it'll end very, very quickly. So what you're doing, you're balancing up, trying to win the quest battle. So the game has like a line of encounter cards across the top with various values on the top. So what you're trying to do is you're questing, so you're trying to beat that total to get more questing tokens, more clues if you like. If you don't, your dial advances and like it goes up when it reaches 50, you're knackered. Do you know what I mean? So you always got to have that in mind first to be able to do. And then as I say, you know, you're dealing like with monsters that come out, you're dealing with various scenario situations. There's one, I think, you travel to Dol Guldur and you have one of your characters has been captured, so you're trying to, a random character has been captured, so you're trying to like get him back and you're sort of fighting spiders and you're doing. And if you've read the books, or even if you watch your films, read the books first. I learned the hard way. I thought Peter Jackson was Tolkien and then I actually read the books. But that's a different story. You're going to get it all the future expansions, all the expansions to this game have all the different parts of the books and stuff, so you can travel to all those amazing places, you know, Rivendell and all sorts of stuff, Mount Doom, and do it all with all the characters. But like I say, beware, it is not easy. What's this one? Quick Strike, so that's like an event, so you buy that and you'll be able to get like a quick strike on your opponent and stuff. And one of our characters, Aragorn. Okay, so he's a Dunedain, a noble and a ranger. Remember the rules book? That's all in there. So again, you can see as well, he looks nothing like, well, looks a bit like Viggo Mortensen, I suppose, but this is like more Tolkien-based art as to the Jackson trilogy art. So they're your components, because like I say, like Arkham, it is a predominantly based, the game is based on cards. Okay, so let's have a quick look at our Learn to Play. Quick reference guide on the back. Now what I will say to you is this is a bit more complicated than Arkham, because in your round you have a resource phase, a planning phase, a quest phase, a travel phase, encounter phase, combat phase and refresh phase. So straight off there are 7 phases there with different parts to each one. So this will slow you down a bit, but in my experience you'll get it after 3 or 4 turns. You'll just go along and you'll do it. Do you know what I mean? So don't worry about that, but we'll say it is harder than Arkham. And it is a bit more complicated. If you were there saying, do we get Arkham or do we get Lord of the Rings, and you like the both things and money wasn't an object, just bear that in mind how hard this game is. It's about the 4th time I've said it now, but I don't want to lie to you. I don't want you thinking, oh, this is a piss easy game. It's not. It's not. It's a highly rewarding game, and one that you'll have to go away and deck build and change your decks and mess about and have different characters to try and figure out. You'll go through the scenarios a few times and get beat. You know, this game will beat you down. It will. But it's like anything. This pure satisfaction you get when you beat it is just unbelievable. Okay, so yeah, introduction, game overview, which I think I've done enough of, and shown you your components. Key concepts, heroes, player decks, your threat dial, how you win the game, and then how you create decks and scenarios for your first game, and it gives us a nice little guide to that. So again, like Arkham, with these being like the new reprinted versions, they're a lot more user-friendly. I say I've just opened this box now, first time on camera. I know the other rulebook inside out, and looking at this straight away, this is so much more friendly. I've seen different unboxings where people have said that this book is so much more concise and clear, which is what you need in it, because like I always say on all these videos, not everyone's gamers. You might be here for the first time, you might have seen this, you know, on Amazon or something. So I'll have a quick look and I wonder what it's all about and what's in the box. Game setup. So again, it takes us through it, nice and easy. Always welcome, always welcome. Playing the game, and then it goes over phase 1 resources, phase 2 planning, tells us how we pay costs and what we do and how the mechanics of the game work. Again, don't be scared off by this, you know, multiple phases, all that kind of stuff. Gives an example of how you pay for your cards, how we quest, and again explains all the different things on the cards. There's like a lot of words on there, but you know, you've got a rules guide to back you up. Tells us how we travel to locations, why we travel to locations, and all the ins and outs of that. Phase 5, the encounter phase, making engagement checks. So again, this will just take you through. You set up your game and you just play your first game. Expect to lose, but just play it and mess about. Follow what they're telling you here, and you'll be all right in no time. Phase 6, combat. Phase 7 refresh. So you see straight away the way, we're sort of 17, 18 pages in now, and it's took us right through all the turn. So sit there, set your card game up, and go through slowly. If you've got to double check, triple check, quadruple check all the phases, just do it. Because I promise you, if you get it and you get bitten by this, crack cocaine, you know what I mean? I said it before, you will end up buying like an awful lot of packs, extra cards. Examples, now I really like this. It gives big clear examples how you defend against attacks and how you attack enemies. The enemies attack you first, so it's always good to have like some allies out or somebody out that you can soak the pressure up. You don't want your heroes getting hit, basically, because if they do, you can go down to have like one hero left and then your part's over. But like as long as your opponent has still got a hero left and they're still alive at the end of the game, not your opponent, your teammate, then you've won, you know what I mean? Concluding the game, quest advancements and winning, player elimination and losing, and then we've got like additional rules, card abilities, and again, I'm harping on about it, but so clearly laid out, folks, you cannot go wrong. Some keywords, restricted sense or surge, some forced effects on cards, like sometimes there's like some of the spiders will come in and like they'll attack you first when you first come in, or they'll reveal another card or stuff like that to get, you know, so you get all sorts of like forced effects. So that's like those there basically. And again, loads of clear examples. So starting your first game. So it says this completes all the rules necessary to play a first game of Lord of the Rings. We recommend playing the first game using a scenario and deck suggested on page 5. Okay, if questions arise during a game, players can consult a rules reference that includes detailed information about the game's mechanics. After playing the first game, read the advanced rules section on the next page of this book to discover how to construct original decks and explore the game's other scenarios. Okay, so this then goes on to advanced rules, scenario overviews. It tells us our first 3 scenarios. So we've got Passage Through Mirkwood, Journey Down the Anduin, and Escape from Dol Guldur. Allegedly, Passage Through Mirkwood is a 1 difficulty, Journey Down the Anduin is 4, and Escape Dol Guldur is 7. And it also says about an easy mode as well, which basically lets you take certain cards out. So you're still going to get that experience, but you're not going to be faced with really big baddies that are just going to hammer you. Oh, now I like this. Yeah, deck building. So it tells you all about how you build your decks, all the restrictions and stuff, and it gives you examples of different decks, what cards to pick out from what you've already got and stuff like that. That's really nice. That there's nothing worse than going along and saying, right, they're your 3 characters. You can have like say 50 cards of that symbol and go and knock yourself out, and you're like, what the hell do I do? You know, is this sword better than that shield, or you know, whatever. Campaign mode, Fellowship of Heroes, and a campaign pool. So what they've started doing as well, excuse me, just dropped it there and caught it luckily, is they've started rebranding all the boxes. So I mentioned earlier the 2 Fellowship of the Ring boxes. What they've done with them now, they've rebranded them all up, and you've got like basically campaign mode, so you can basically play through. There's 2 boxes for the Fellowship, 2 boxes of 2 Towers, 2 boxes of Return the King. So if you were to go out and buy those 6 boxes, then you can basically work your way right through like the Lord of the Rings. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, campaign mode, that details on how we keep a log of all our campaigns. So you play like one scenario and then you go on to the next, and you have certain things, if you've done this or you've done that. Some things better, some things worse. Campaign setup checklist, expert campaign, end of the campaign, scoring. Here we go. I'm getting towards the end now, folks. We're hitting the 20-minute mark. And then a campaign log for you to keep all your details of said campaigns in. Do what I do, photocopy these. And then there is more stuff to do with keeping your details of the game there. And your credits loosely translate into the evil bastards that created this in the nicest possible way, of course. Fantastic game. And I did flash it before, the quick reference guide on the back. So that is The Lord of the Rings, the card game, the reprint. As I say, no difference in this to the original box. It's just a design choice. Do you want to go out and get everything in the box that you need for a 4-player game, a la Arkham? Or do you want to go out, pick a couple of the other boxes up cheap, you're going to need to get what you get in this. Choice is yours, folks. Hard game, difficult game, extremely unforgiving, totally worth it. That's, I'm going to leave it there. Comments below. Are you a fan? Do you play LCGs? Marvel Champions, Arkham Horror, Lord of the Rings, which one's your favourite? Let me know below. Leave anything else for me, folks. Anything game related, any games you want to see, anything like that, and I will see you all soon.